Shri Guru Vaishnava Guru Parampara ki jai. Good. Good evening.
Good.
How are you feeling?
Better. Your day rest helped.
Okay, good. Mike, you are more. Any questions tonight? Yes.
Sakyati, could you pass the Chaitanya to me? I've encountered this part a couple of times. I never quite made full sense of it. It's in the section where he's talking about the tree of devotional service, and he's describing Vakreshvar Pandit, who used to dance for 72 hours. And he describes this interaction. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally sang while Vakreshvar Pandit danced, and thus Vakreshvar Pandit fell at the lotus feet of the Lord and spoke as follows: O Chandramukha, please give me 10,000 Gandharvas. Let them sing as I dance, and then I will be greatly happy. Lord Chaitanya replied, I have only one wing, like you, but if I had another, certainly I would fly in the sky. And I've never quite made sense of it.
Oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is simply glorifying him. That if I had two of you, I could fly. That's says pretty much for one, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't. Therefore, I'm still on the ground here. Yeah. It's just a way of glorifying him, praising him.
When he says I have only one wing, like you.
Yeah, he's comparing him to a wing.
Oh, okay.
Like a bird.
Okay.
He's saying, I'm like a bird, and you're like one wing. If I had another wing, I could fly. Mm. So he's making much of one wing, comparing himself to a bird. Vakreshvar Pandit ki jai.
Jai.
Yeah, he was an important associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What else? Yes.
I have another question related with Chaitanya Charitamrita. I was wondering why Krishna does coverage when he presents Mahaprabhu. He speaks about Radha and Krishna and the Lila, but when he presents in the first chapter, and when he presents Nityananda, he talk more generic, like about he's the god of the universes. He doesn't say much about Balaram or Leelas or things like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's very different.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that Krishnadas Kaviraj is doing in that section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the preface, the Mangala Charan, he has 5 verses appear to be of his own composition, glorifying Nityananda Prabhu. And as we've been discussing, here and there it seems to come up. It came up in the Dainikasura Lila, Krishna's eulogy of Balaram, and pointing out to everyone the significance, the ontological position of Balaram as being equal with his ontological position. That is to say, that Balaram is not an avatar of Mahavishnu or Narayan any more than Krishna is. Indeed, Krishna expands in Braj as Balaram for pastimes, and then the two expand into Mathura and Dwarka, and from there they expand into Vaikuntha and so forth. So To put it another way, as we have in some of these discussions, the Krishna avatar, so to speak, he's avatari, means the source of avatars, but still he appears as an avatar. He is the Krishna Balaram avatar. They come together, right? So, we've been discussing that. Your husband brought up Gaur Sundar, brought up the instance in which Balaram chastised the Jamuna and so forth. Another way of pointing out and showed his Aishvarya, pointing out his position. And we haven't gotten to this section either, but, then to go to Gaur Lila, I should say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also repeatedly made an effort to point out to his devotees the importance of Nityananda Prabhu because he was unorthodox and difficult to understand, unorthodox in his behavior. And with regard to Balaram, then there are different sampradayas that look at him as an expansion of Ananta Sage or as a jiva and so forth. So from the Gaudiya Vaishnava point of view, as it is important and essential to point out Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, the Krishna is the source of all forms of the Godhead, it's also important to point out the position of Balaram and, by extension, Nityananda Prabhu, because it's the position that he holds is something that, from our point of view, is understood best through the Gaudiya lens of the Bhagavatam. And the Gaudiyas, of course, that's their main book, the Bhagavatam, right? That's the hub around which all the other texts orbit and are understood in context, in relation to. And then there's a specific focus on Balaram also as the friend of Krishna, as we've said, rather than with his own gopis. So that's only pointed out for the purpose, like in the beginning of Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das, who says, I wrote the book on the order of Nityananda Prabhu, who is Antaryami in my heart. He told me to write this book. At the beginning, there are a number, I should say, of verses about Balaram, Nityananda Prabhu. Balaram has his own rasa dance. The only reason he's saying that is because people think, well, Krishna had a rasa dance. Okay, he's God, but Balaram didn't. Not that that's our focus. We're not trying to enter the rasa dance with Balaram, right? We want to be the friend of Balaram. But at any rate, it's an important Gaudiya aspect of tattva that you won't find in other lineages. So it's important to, and repeatedly, therefore, it comes up. As I say, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on a number of occasions pointed out the position of Nityananda to his own associates. And then the principal biographers, Vrindavan Das and Krishna Das deferring as he does repeatedly, to Vrindavan Das. Vrindavan Das's focus on the Navadvip Lila primarily, and Krishna Das focus on the Madhya Lila as the way to ultimately enter into the Navadvip Lila, which is our ideal. But both of them, I just mentioned Vrindavan Das, who's in Sakyarasa and a follower of Balaram, but Krishna Das also. He's was blessed by Nityananda Prabhu to go to Vrindavan, and there he was chosen to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so, he started the Sampradaya also. Nityananda Prabhu and his associates, before anybody else was initiating, they were initiating and glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so forth. So, Nityananda Prabhu, very important person. And this is then also the spirit of Krishnadas in composing those 5 Mangala verses about Nityananda Prabhu that are full of Aishvarya. I guess that's to your question, because within the Mangala verses about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there is some Aishvarya. He writes,
just as a Brahma, that which Upanishad describes as the
Yada Dvaita Brahmanashari Tarapi Asyaptunuba Atmantarayami Purusha Iti Chosham Shapibaba Sadaishvarya Purna Saiha Bhagavansa Swayam Mayam the Chaitanya Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramiha. So this is full of Aishvarya. He's saying that which the Upanishads speak about as the Brahman is but his effulgence. That which is the Purusha. Purusha means Mahavishnu, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Shirdaksha Vishnu, the Paramatma, the overlord in 3 forms of the world. Is his Vaibhav, his expansion. Krishna, who is Sadaishvarya Purna, full with all 6 opulences, he is that same Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's saying Krishna Swayam Bhagavan, so on and so forth. So this is a very powerful ontological verse describing the ontological position of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But then he goes on with the second Namaskar verse. That's a Namaskar verse in his Mangala Charan. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Godadai Pushpabanto Chitro Sambratamonato. And there he puts them together to Chaitanya Nityananda Prabhu, describing them. This Mangala verse is the verse in which he identifies the deities of his book, Gaur and Nityananda both, and talks about their benediction to the world. And then he gives his Ashirvad verse, another aspect of the Mangala Charan, which is a blessing to the readers. How's it start? Anarpita chirim chirat karunayavatina kalo samarpaitam unatuljarasam sabhakti sriyam Hari purta sundara duti kadamba sandipita sadardaya kandures purato va sachinandanan Shri Sachinandan Gaurari ki jai. This is also a verse found in his Lalita Madhava, which identifies the deity of his drama. That he recited that verse at the request of Brahmananda Roy in Puri, in the presence of Mahaprabhu. Rupa Goswami did, yeah, with some shyness, and then Mahaprabhu heard the verse, and it was about him, and he covered his ears. So what are you talking about? The other devotees, of course, were very pleased. This is a verse about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's benediction to the world, right? Ujjvala rasa. Giving not ujjvala, but unata ujjvala rasa, a special kind of ujjval madhurya rasa that's called babulas or radhadasyam, manjari bhava in particular. He is pursuing the Radha's love, as he'll go on to say, and stepping into Radha's shoes and bhav and so forth. So the jivas cannot do that, but they can come close to that by becoming handmaid of Radha, right? So this is the primary kind of bhav of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Nityananda Prabhu is in a supporting role, and he's supporting that, but he has the Sakya bhav, so it does affect persons, and we find that current also. But at any rate, then he gives verses that are more like what you're speaking about, right? Describes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Radha Krishna Pranay Vikati Lalini Shakti Rasmad, describing the inner and outer reasons for his appearance, and so forth. They're very sweet, and these very, very extraordinary theological questions that God is asking about himself in kind of an existential crisis of what is it that makes me, mad for her? What is it in me? And so on. It's very extraordinary. It's a trans-psychological, window into the mind of the avatari of the Godhead. And built into that is, of course, is the solution that he comes up with to descend in Kaliya as a sannyasi, and so on and so forth. But the verses of Nityananda Prabhu, comparatively, yes, they are all about his ontological position. He's not different than Balaram and Sankarshana Karanatoishayi Garbodishayi Chapayodishayi Sesha Seyasi Amsa Kalasa Nityanandakya Rama Sharanam Vastu. So this is one verse that encapsulates that which he speaks, unpacks in 4 other verses. So Nityananda Prabhu is that self-same Balaram. He is the Mul Sankarshan, the Mahasankarshan. He is and the Purushas all expand from him, and Anantasesh as well. So this is like saying, he's big. He's big ontologically, very big person. That's all the verses full of Aishvarya, right? And that's your question. So they're not verses that speak about his lila or the sweetness of, but rather his majesty. But this is for the purpose that I mentioned, that at the onset he wants to make it clear what is the ontological position of Nityananda Prabhu, because it's misunderstood often. So they're very, very powerful verses. That said, in the book itself, of course, there are many sweet pastimes that are described between Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And his own confession comes in the book as well as to how he came to write the book, and was how Nityananda Prabhu came to him with his Gopals and in a dream, and mystic dream, and told him to go to Vrindavan and so forth. And he feels this is he's very shy to speak about this. He's very embarrassed to speak about it. But he feels if he doesn't, then he won't do justice to what is the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So he tells the story. He says it's more secret than the Vedas, that should be kept confidential. These kind of epiphanies and so forth, you can't share them with everybody who will believe you anyway. So, but he does, out of his grace, to explain the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. So, when it comes to this is just a couple of chapters in where he talks about, maybe the 9th chapter of Kaliya Lila, where he speaks about how he came to write the book. No, I'm sorry, 5th chapter. It's in the after those Mangala verses, right? And in the context of explaining his Mangala verses, I should say, actually, after he has explained them, then he segues into this in that same chapter. He tells us something very sweet about Nityananda Prabhu. I was living in my brother's house, and they were performing Sankirtan, and the Brahmana was worshiping the deity, and Miniketan Ramdas came. Miniketan Ramdas came to the house, and he was like another Nityananda, practically. I think Kavi Karnapur describes him as an incarnation of Mul Sankarshan or something like that. So another way of saying another Nityananda Prabhu, and his bhava was so extraordinary that it couldn't be contained. It would come out, and he would interact with people in very extraordinary ways. He carried a flute with him, and he would hit people on the head sometimes with a flute. Or they would pay obeisances to him, and he would crawl on top of them. And there's, I've written about him in my book. I mean, it's very, very beautiful what he says about him. That his eyes were always filled with tears, and seeing his eyes, others would weep. All the sattvika bhavs, he describes the sattvika bhavs manifesting continually on his body, trembling, changing of color, complexion, weeping. It's very, very powerful. Very, very compelling. and he came to understand in that household that, and I think we mentioned this the other night, that while the brother of Kabiraj Goswami, whose house it was a worshiper of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't have regard for Nityananda Prabhu, who was unorthodox, and who knows what his caste is, and so forth. And so understanding that, intuitively understanding that, Miniketan broke his flute, like a sage would break his thread or something like that, and he walked out, and Krishnadas Kaviraj walked out as well. So he could understand that Miniketan Ramdas was not pleased, and that this is why. He just intuited this, and so he became homeless. And he walked out, and in the night, somewhere he slept along the roadside, and Nitai was very pleased with him. He came with all of his associates in a dream, chanting Krishna Krishna. He describes them and says, "Go to Vrindavan, all your desires will be fulfilled." So that's a very, from all this Aishvarya, he talks about an intimate moment of Nityananda Prabhu coming into his life through Miniketan Ramdas and sending him to Vrindavan and so forth. He balances it out, so to speak, the ontological Aishvarya, majestic verses about his majesty with a very sweet story. I mean, his own personal life of interaction with Nityananda Prabhu. So don't neglect Nityananda Prabhu. Nitai, what is it? Nitai Vinay Bhai Radhakrishna Poetenai. Nitai Nartam Thakur. He knows it all. No, that's a different verse, different song. Anyway, without worship of Nityananda Prabhu, you cannot understand. You cannot approach Radha and Krishna. In fact, Vrindavana says Nityananda Prabhu brought Madhurya Rasa to opportunity for that to the world, because he brought Gaur to the world by way of introducing him to the world. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was teaching his associates to chant the Krishna's name and follow the teachings of Krishna, he said, "We'll chant Gaur-nam. Bhaja Gauranga," he said. Bhaja Gauranga. Kaha Gauranga Namare. Yejana Gauranga Bhaja Sayamar Pramre. He said, whoever worships Gauranga, whoever chants his name, who follows his teaching, that person is purchased by me. And people thought, "Whoa, I want to be purchased by him." He's a very compelling person, very compassionate and powerful spiritually. This is how it's all started. The Sampradaya started. There were no books from the Goswamis or anything, just the faith and experience of Nityananda Prabhu and the power of his own person started it. And so his followers, the daughters of Gopals, 12 cowherd boys from Goloka, who came in Gaur Lila. Gordas Pandit, Udarandatta Thakur, and so forth. They opened like little humble preaching centers. The whole focus, there was one ritual, Nam Sankirtan. That's all they did, Nam Sankirtan. They had the deities, but the Nam Sankirtan was the one ritual. One spiritual ritual and one social ritual, because socially the mercantile community, especially which was ministered to by Miniketan Ramdas at the behest of Nityananda Prabhu, had lost their social position within the society as Hindus due to no real fault of their own, but just Balal Sain, the king of the area, some dealings he was not satisfied with, and anyway, this became their faith. So this became they couldn't participate in the Varnashram Hindu ritual, right? So this became their ritual, Nam Sankirtan, one ritual. Krishnottsava, that is what it is. Yagnaya Sankirtana Praya, Yajanti Hi Sumetasa. And Oh, what is his name? Kavi Karnapur's guru. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam. I can't remember now. Anyway, he says.
Wasn't Shivananda?
No, that's his father.
That's father, the guru.
Yeah. Disciple of Advaita. Anyway.
Madhunanda?
No. I know the name, but he's not allowing me to say. He's very humble. He's not allowing me to say. But he translated that Yagnai Sankirtana prayer of Bhagavatam is Krishnotava. The yajna is a festival about Krishna, singing, dancing, chanting. So this was their preoccupation. So they started the whole worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Later people wrote about it, and philosophized about it, located his ecstasy, as I say, on a scriptural map, and so on and so forth, and brought some Chaitanya Charitamrita was kind of was like the Nicene, what is it called? The council within Catholicism, where they sorted out what was orthodox, what was not orthodox in the worship of what was orthodox Christianity, so to speak. So what was orthodox Gaudiya Vaishnava was determined really by Chaitanya Charitamrita and the what was the festival of Ketari Ground Festival, overseen by Janava Mata. There they established what is Gaudiya Vaishnavism as we, so to speak, know it. They had the orthodox form, because people were worshipping with different ideas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and so forth. So at any rate, Vrindavan Das, yes, he gives very powerful verses about Nityananda Prabhu, and then segues into like a confessional section. And he says this is Akyam Guyam Akyati Puchati. He's revealing his heart to the readers, this experience that he had. He was later. He came after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the disappearance of Nityananda Prabhu. But Nityananda Prabhu came to him. So, and then in the book there's many sweet pastimes. But that's, again, that emphasis. Who is Nityananda Prabhu should not be misunderstood. It's if you look at it carefully, you see, it's almost, if you look at the literature carefully, it's almost being repeated as much as Krishna's two Bhagavan Swayam. I mean, yes, there's a whole Sandarbha about this one line of one verse, Krishna's two Bhagavan Swayam, is based on the Krishna Sandarbha. Where the whole Krishna Sandarbha is about that one line. That's true. But in the book also, he demonstrates through the supportive literature, Praman from Bhagavatam and so forth, that the ontological equality, if you will, between Nityananda or between Balaram and Krishna, and in so many instances we've brought up. This is coming up. It's an interesting point, and it's not very well understood. But it's if you get the point, after a while you see, well, there's quite a bit of emphasis here. We see it in the Bhagavatam. Krishna himself giving a eulogy in praise of Balaram, that he might be properly understood. Krishnadas is doing it in his Mangala verses. Vrindavan Das is doing it. Mahaprabhu is doing it in the context of the Lila, pointing out Nityananda Prabhu and so forth. Its importance. Nitai Chand ki jai. He's the way to Vrindavan. He cited Arkobe Nitai Chande Karuna Hoive Sangsara Vasanamo Kabe Tucha Ave. And this is Narottam Thakur singing, of course, but this is illustrated in the life of Krishnadas Kaviraj. Just imagine he left home, where he would stay, and Nityananda Prabhu came to him and said, live in my house. Go to Vrindavan, live there. All your desires will be fulfilled. With such confidence, humility and confidence, the difference between confidence and pride. With great confidence, very humbly, He went to Vrindavan and he was celebrated there by the other devotees, chosen by Madan Mohanji himself, with support of the other leading Vaishnavas at Govindaji, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Mahashari Ki Jai. And of course he's in Madhurya Rasa. He's in Manjari Bhav. But see, he has such respect for Nityananda Prabhu, so he shouldn't be neglected in the name of Radhadasyam by any means. Does that help? Yeah. Something else? Yes.
The other night, I think I used the wrong term, but the basis of my question was, I just found it interesting, I guess. I was wondering if you could comment, like, how when Balaram is with the cowherds, their Sakiras, obviously it's excited having Balaram with Krishna. And then also on the days when he's not there, it seems like that also excites them, but like in a different way.
Well, Balaram is the other self, if you will, of Krishna. So there is obviously a prominent aspect of Krishna that constitutes his romantic sensibilities, which in one sense does not allow him to be fully present all the time in Sakirasa. But there are cowherds, as we know. Within Sakiras there are 4 divisions. So one of the division is those cowherds who are have empathetic love for Krishna and Radha, and they are capable of empathizing with both of them in terms of their plight, which is basically parkiya, and the obstacles to their union and so forth. Obstacles that come from outside, obstacles that come from their own temperaments and so forth. Lovers' quarrels and so on. And so they're the friends of Krishna whose friendship extends beyond the ordinary realm of friendship. Just like you got a bunch of friends and they're playing football, let's say, and then somebody's girlfriend shows up. Pointing at her watch. You were supposed to be back. We were. I gotta go. Okay, see you later. And so there's a side of him that okay, we don't have anything to do with that. But then Krishna has, as some people do in this world, some friends whose friendship includes the football and includes being an ear for him, what happened and how it didn't work out, or the problems that came up, and he'll empathize, and he'll also hear the Radha side and so forth, and like Subal is the primary, in all of the Braj, there's nobody who is better able to empathize and help work things out for the union of Radha and Krishna. So that's a special kind of friend. So, point being that in midday, Krishna makes an excuse to leave the greater group of sakas, the other 3 divisions of French friends, and rendezvous with the gopis and his Priyanarma sakas. Then he'll go with him. But then he, if you will, in terms of his Sakirasa, is fully present, represented in Balaram, who is both the ideal of Sakirasa as the best friend of Krishna, right? And is also the object of love as because he's Bhagwan. He is the Godhead. So if you have the object of love as Krishna and Balaram, and now Krishna's in Sakyaras, now Krishna's drifting towards his Madhurya in the Brahma way, then Balaram becomes the object of love. He's not with Krishna as the friend, and they're appreciating his bhava, his love for Krishna comes out, like in that Pralambasura Lila, when Balaram slays this Pralamba because he thinks, oh goodness, there could be some other demon disguised in the group, and now I'm at a distance because this guy has carried me, this Pralamba, away, and out of concern for Krishna, he slays him and comes right back, and it expresses that, and all the cowards are just amazed at his love for Krishna. They all have it too, but I mean, they see a beautiful display of that. And so, they get him some honey, and so when Krishna is absent, and the balance of the cowards are with Balaram, then he is more the object of worship. He's the full focus now is the object of worship. You understand? When Krishna and Balaram there, he is, but he's also seen. There's more focus on Krishna as the object of worship, and Balaram's focused on that as well, right? So when Krishna's with the Priyanarmasakas and gopis, then Balaram becomes. So I'm answering your question, right? This is what you're asking about. Balaram becomes more than fully the object of worship. So then the pastimes will be different, and they'll be worshiping Balaram, and after he drinks this honey, they'll drink a little too, and fanning him, and the Sridham, their followers, they'll call them, and Balaram will be decorated with flowers and fanned, and they'll take a rest under the tree, and have the boys' heads on their lap, and there'll be another circle, and some of the boys stand with bows and arrows, guarding in case any demons come, and so forth. And so Balaram anyway becomes more like the object of worship than he is the ideal worshiper in that context. And that is kind of the difference.
Well, that's a really beautiful answer, but I was kind of thinking in relation to like Kaliya Lila or Agasura, how Balaram's absent on those days, and like I guess without his Vatsalya Ras there, it seems that the cowherds are like extra excited on those days.
Well, those are two instances that are different. The excitement, if you will, during they speak of the Agasura Lila is not relative to Balaram not being there. It's relative to the fact that they're going to stay out longer and have their lunch out there. This is the Kumar Lila. This is the end of the Kumar Lila, Sesh Kumar. And so Krishna has become a calf herder. But he can only go out so far, and he has to come back, and they got a leash on him, so to speak. So by the force of his bhava for herding and whatnot, then he convinces his mother that we're going to have a picnic and take lunch out. So that's the famous picnic, right? After that, every day they're taking lunch out and so forth, because then he becomes a cow herder, and so he's out all day long. But this is like the first time they're going to stay out longer and have a picnic and be uninhibited by Nanda's overseeing the meal, if you will. So it's very, very exciting. Balaram just doesn't happen to be there because of the social circumstances surrounding, again, his monthly birthday, and relatives from out of town have come, and so their excitement doesn't have anything to do with Balaram not being there. Whereas in the Kaliya Lila, there's some excitement stirring within Krishna because he's going out of bounds right now, because he's been told by Yasoda, and Yasoda's fostered that onto Balaram. You're the older brother by 8 whole days. Don't let him, go to that Kaliya lake, whatever you do, because every day he's thinking about that Kaliya lake and how he'd like to, rectify the situation and so forth. And Balaram even tells him, tell Subal, tell Krishna, I can't come out today. Don't go to the Kaliya lake. But he says, okay, I won't go in the lake. But he goes, and then the cowherd boys just follow him, and they just happen to come. They're maybe there's some excitement extended from Krishna's excitement, and Balaram's not there, so they're going to protect him. But those are just a couple of different occasions. I think that on a regular basis, the absence of Balaram, or the presence of Balaram, I should say, without Krishna, in a greater circle of cowherds is a daily affair when Krishna goes for midday pastimes, which are exclusive feature of Gaudiya Sampradaya, Gaudiya insight into the Lila, midday pastimes. And the difference then, I've pointed that out, it's significant. There are other older boys, too, with regards to, there are other Suhrits who have some Vatsalya also. So it's not just Balaram, but I mean, he speaks a little louder because Yasoda's always on his case. Don't let Krishna misbehave. Yes?
Is it the enormous process ever experience that Lila where Balaram is the center and Krishna's not present?
Yeah, sure. I mean, sure. Maybe not at that particular time, but there are times when they worship Balaram. I mean, even we see it in the Poganda Lila when Krishna gives the eulogy. Krishna himself is giving the eulogy, and everyone's Balaram, celebrating his position and so forth. Sometimes Krishna will take a subordinate position. I mean, there he is, but also in other instances. And especially if Balaram gets intoxicated, which he has a penchant for that. And then he'll lay down, and Krishna will massage his feet and so forth. And then he'll say, no, don't do that. And he'll grab him, pull him up in his lap, and then they'll take rest, and the cowherd boys will sleep all around them. And I said, then there'll be the protector boys and so forth. And the parrots will speak, Radha, Krishna, Radha. And Krishna will wake up and think, what's going on? And then Balaram will wake up with his drunkenness and insist that we should go swimming in the Jamuna. And then he'll plunge in and behave as an intoxicated person, and they have to turn to Krishna. How are we going to deal with him? And so forth. And then he comes down, so to speak, and he realizes that he's behaved in unorthodox ways, and he's embarrassed by that. Balaram would be embarrassed, and then he'll say, Krishna, don't tell Mother Yasoda that I acted like this. And then Sri Ram says, oh no, we won't speak, but watch out for him. Mother Mangala says, I have to tell the truth, I'm a Brahmin. You can't ask me to lie if I'm asked. So Balaram would take him and tie him up to a tree and make him promise not to tell. Then Krishna will say, What's going on over there? What happened to you? He says, oh, nothing. Nothing. There was a goddess inside the tree, and Balaram wanted me to marry her, so he tied a knot, but it didn't work out. I'll never marry again. Something like that. So, Balaram ji ki jai, Raji Gopal ki jai, Gaur Nityananda ki jai, Gaur Bhakti-vrinda ki jai, Gaur Premanande.